Nairi.
Thank you. Can I do like a Nairi? Yeah. Can I do like a really quick shout out?
Yeah, absolutely.
To the SoCal, the SoCal Street Fight family. If any of you listeners are living in Southern California, get in on the SoCal Street Fight group. I'm actually hosting like a little get together, smoke sesh, whatever, next week. So get in on there and come over and we'll hang out and we'll have a great time.
Thank you for calling. That's awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Enjoy doing these local hangouts. We love that that's happening.
Yeah, that's really cool.
We had one earlier this summer. It was great.
That's great. That is beautiful to me. Well, thank you for calling in.
Yep, have a good one. Yeah, that's cool. I'm in the SoCal Street Fighters group and pay attention to what they're doing. And
How dare you?
It's pretty neat.
You're not in SoCal. Get out of here.
I'm just a lurker.
You're a lurker. What is the other thing you are? You're just spying on those people. It's sickening.
Yeah, I want to get you know how like when you got signed to Rockefeller Records, they would give you a chain?
Yeah.
I want to do that for like the mods. I want to figure out how to make a big gold chain or something to give, because we'll run into them, a few of them on the live show tours. But I got to figure out how to do that quickly.
Yeah, you do.
Let's see who's on the phone. You ready to take one more?
Let's take one more and take our break. I'm putting a playlist together right now, so we need to.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, will we be able to dump the audio on the stream, Jason? Are we going to be able to dump the audio on the stream? Okay.
Sorry, stream people. We love you, but we got to take a break because
music.
we need time. I'm sorry.
Thank you for calling Street Fighter. Who are we talking to?
Uh-oh.
Hey, this is Kayla.
Oh, hey, how are you? I feel terrible because you got on hold last week and tried to call in, and then I didn't get in here because we're dinguses. And then
listen, I called like 35 times, but I only sent you the screenshot of 16 because I was like, I don't want them to know how many times I called.
I would have done the same thing. That is so me. Like,
yeah, like, it's gonna work. I'll get in there.
My partner was like, you have to confess that at the beginning of your call because that's just too funny. And I was like, oh, guess I'll do it.
My wife was asking me actually if I've ever called into a radio show, and I said no, but that's because I was afraid. I think if this show was around, I might have called in because we're nice, but I always was like scared that like I'd call in and they'd be like, "Whoa, what's this? This is," because I've heard it happen on so many shows, like where people are like, "Nobody cares about that." And it's like, oh dang, man. Okay. Well.
Yeah, as like a really young kid, listen to talk radio, like the weird ones about UFOs, and like my mom was really into that shit, and
Coast
I tried calling in, and they were like, "Who is this little girl?"
Well, what's going on?
I know fuck, I don't know.
You have some stuff going on, so I've kind of been following it. So. What is I don't know exactly what happened, but I know you're having job issues.
Yeah, okay. So I basically have volunteered with this nonprofit for almost 5 years now, and they paid for my schooling, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to be a hairstylist. I'm going to work for myself. I don't have any debt because I, worked it out this way. I don't have parents and stuff, so I had to figure out a way to get my shit paid for. So I did, right? And so the process has been nickel and diming me the whole way. Like, I've been working on getting licensed for a really long time, and before you're licensed, salons will just take advantage of you. Like, straight up, you are just totally fucked. And they admit it. They're like, yeah, you should be happy that we're treating you okay here because another salon will fuck you worse.
This sounds like, see, that, I mean, like.
It's called paying your dues, Kayla.
Yeah. And you're like doing.
Yeah, that's what they say, actually.
Oh, I know. Oh, exactly. I mean, they get rid of lots of heinous work environments happen because of paying your dues.
Yeah. And you're like in a trade. I mean, like I don't think they call it a trade, but barber or hairstylist is a trade.
They do. They still do.
That's great because, like, it's like, in Ohio, If you're a felon, you're not allowed to be a hair. You're not allowed to get a license to do hair here at all. So that is like this really weird thing that I know that bothers me.
That's really strange.
There's like 400 jobs you can't get.
There's
One of
lots
them.
of felon hairstylists.
Oh, really? That's
Here.
at least they do it.
Yeah.
Off the books?
I'm not sure because lots of hairstylists are off the books. And there's lots of sketchy shit going on in the beauty industry, like really bad, like enough that there's this whole website dedicated to like, it's called This Ugly Beauty Industry, and they actually have their own podcast. So, of course I listen.
Yeah.
But
That sounds like a great podcast. Though.
yeah, I've linked it in the group a couple times because I'm like, hey, if there's any hairstylists in here, like this is they have an entire like breakdown of all the ways you can get fucked. Like, so basically I sent that that link to my bosses, and I was like, these are all the ways you've been fucking me. You're extremely exploitive. Like, I think I sent a screenshot of the email actually in the group too. But basically, I called the Department of Labor, and, I'm here in Orlando, Florida, and Florida has a different minimum wage than the federal minimum wage, but it's only like $1 more, They just wanted to be like, hey, we'll throw you $1.
We raised it.
It's like exactly $1 more.
Yeah, we're helping you
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I mean, what are you complaining about? We raised the minimum wage. It's raised, okay? Technically, it's raised.
I know. Wait, but hold your horses, though, because the Department of Labor, when I called them, was like, oh, actually, we only uphold the 725, not the 825.
Ugh.
So I'm like, wait, what are you talking about?
Well, how were you?
Like,
Can I ask how you were like? So what was the like situation that you were dealing with? You got a job before you were licensed, because do you have to do a certain amount of hours before you're licensed to do it?
in certain states, yes. Here in Florida, it's very lax. Like, you just go to school, you can get a job while you're in school, and you can work kind of like under someone else's license. But once you're out of school, you just have to take that test, and you are licensed. And the test has no hands-on anything. It's just on a computer. Tedious bullshit. You have to pay $65 to apply and then $45 for each test. And, you know, I've been trying to apply for the past 2 weeks, and it's just ridiculous. It's bureaucratic bullshit. It's horrible, and it's not what I signed up for. I was like, I want to be a hairstylist so that I can be my own boss.
Yeah.
That is not what's happening.
They never let you actually, any of those jobs where they say, where you think you can like do that, they always give you some sort of a boss. And like credentialing that's like a huge thing. So were you working for less than minimum wage?
Okay, so I was told that I was going to paid hourly minimum wage, and I was like, okay, so when do I start clocking in? And they're like, there's no time clock, we aren't fancy. And I was like, there's free time clock apps, like,
Yeah.
we could write this down on paper. Like, I'm like, how are we going to do this? Like, because I told them I'm not comfortable with that. And
Hey,
they were
I
like,
want-
I'm so sorry.
I don't want our producer Jason to hear this, because I just sent him a roundabout number on his hours, and now you're going to give him some ideas on how shit should change around here.
That is so. I'm annoyed. I am super annoyed with where's the time clock. Oh, we don't have one. We're not fancy. Like, you know that
Well,
just
I was
means
just
you're
kind
gonna.
of like,
I mean, I just know that means you're gonna get ripped off. What that means is they're gonna guess less hours every time than you think
Of
you're gonna
course.
get.
You're gonna be running around. They're gonna see you making a glass of water, and then they're gonna start the time clock. Like, they're gonna check their watch at the time.
Yeah.
You know, when you've been there for 15 minutes or so.
Is that what they?
well, that's kind of what she said. she was like, you can't be sitting down now. Now that you want to talk about hours, you can't sit down. And I was like, what?
That sounds, oh my God. They're like, look at the mess you just made for yourself. Now we have to teach you because you asked about the clock.
Why can't you sit down? Like, what is this thing?
Oh, God.
What is that is like the most ultimate, if you can lean, you can clean. So what, let me ask you this, actually. I just thought of this, but did you have to buy all your own stuff too? Like, and bring it there?
Okay, so most of the hair schools provide you with a kit, is what they call it. And they give you the shittiest quality, like, dirt fucking starting tools. Like, you're not going to be able to use this shit once you're out of school. You realize that everybody else's tools are, like, thousands of dollars and super fucking expensive, and they don't work like yours. So you're already at a disadvantage because all you have are these shit tools that are falling apart. And it's like, you know, my kit cost $3,000. It included an iPad, but, you know, my iPad got stolen at school, and then they're not liable for anything that is stolen at school.
What was the iPad necessary, or was it like to do your homework and stuff on?
You know, I would honestly vote that it was totally necessary and a really good idea instead of having books. I really appreciated it because I used it as a giant phone.
Yeah, saying it can also, it's like an extra TV that you can take around the house.
I used it for books.
I'd bring it to the bars with me.
Oh, no. I carried an iPad as a phone for like 2 weeks because I broke mine, and it was the worst.
Oh, I did it. I had an iPad as a phone for a few months.
Oh, I did it for like 6 months. And my friends were like, Kayla just doesn't have a phone. You have to Facebook Messenger her. And like, it was just known. And then I got a phone, and everyone was like, oh, she's going to be easier to contact. And like, no.
Nope.
I'm not.
That is...
But basically, like, sorry.
that if you can lean, I haven't heard you sat down. We haven't heard an if you can lean, you can clean story on this show in so long that it's, I mean, I hate that it happened to you, but it's sort of refreshing to know that there's still people that get, like, somebody that is your boss is furious that you're sitting down on their money. Like, what kind of a fucking person, like, can't, like, I'm paying you.
Yeah, the thing is, like, my actual boss was pretty cool. My manager was the one that was shitty. And my actual boss was like, yeah, I can't be a manager because I hate managers. And I was like, I feel you. Like, she just wanted to come in and, like, not do anything and not worry about anything and, you know, whatever, steal money from us. She's not the best. I'm not, you know, on her side, but she just kind of, like, stayed in her own lane and didn't bother me. So I was kind of like, okay, you know, she wasn't micromanaging me like this fucking lady was. And it's just like, you know, I sat down and did the math, and I compared it to my time clock that I had on my phone, and I was like, these motherfuckers have been stealing $100 a month from me for the 4 months I've worked for them.
Yeah, that's a significant amount of money. That's a bill.
So I'm still contacting a lawyer. I'm still contacting a lawyer because, to me, you know, it's like they've been in business for 19 years. They've probably been doing this to all of their employees for the entirety. You know, they're getting renovations. She's got 3 cars. They go on vacation every week. It's like ridiculous.
That is such classic small business tyrant. Like, probably got a jet ski, I'm sure, down in Florida. You know, can I ask, did you confronted them about the money that they had ripped you off for? And what was the response to the, because listen, you're saying you worked there for 4 months, right? Like 4.5. All they owe you is $400. And I would think that is a huge amount of money for me, and it probably is for you or for Brett, but to them,
oh my God, it's tremendous for me.
Yeah, $400 like could change like a week or two for, like, you know,
that makes it different for a whole month.
Yeah.
And that takes care of a few essential bills.
And to make the problem go, like, it's so crazy that, like, they didn't even give you the money just to make you go away. You know?
I mean, Well, no, they tried. Okay, so basically, so I told them, hey, I worked half my shift, and I was like, hey, I need to talk to the two of you in the back. I treated them like they were employees. It was really fun. I was like, I have to talk to you two in the back. And she was just blabbing off to a client about how I was going to help her with her really busy day tomorrow. And I was like, hell, I'm going to fuck you, bitch. So I'm like, I need to talk to you in the back. And, like, pulled them by their ears. And I was like, made sure that I was talking loud enough for clients and shit to hear because fuck you. And so I was like, I just want to let you know the conditions here are not okay, and I've packed up half of my things. I'm going to leave now, and I'm going to send you an email with all the money you owe me and commissions and for hourly. And they were like, oh, I owe you money? I'll write you a check right now. And I was like, no, actually, I'm just going to report you, and I'm going to make sure that I stick up for everyone else in here, too. So don't just write me a check right now. No thanks. Like, I'll actually do due diligence here. Like, I'm going to be contacting people. Good luck with this, because
I mean,
nah. Like,
the thing is,
damn.
Well, here, let's like really look at it though, right? Like so she says, I want you to keep track of my hours. She sits down. They're so annoyed with her that she sat down that they're like, no, you have to stand up. Like, that's just an unnecessary thing that they did. And they did that not because it solved any problem, but because they were being petty and they didn't want you sitting down because you were sticking up for yourself. So I think that
it was a hostile work environment.
And I think that being like, no, I don't want your check, I'm going to report you to somebody is fine. You're doing what they did to you, you know?
That is a small business tyrant.
Exactly.
I mean, that is a tyrant.
I said, listen,
Bullying.
I've worked for mostly small businesses. My aunt fucking opened a small business, okay? Like, I was like, lady, you can't fuck me. I know your tactics. My aunt used them, okay? Like, come on.
Ma'am, I listen to a podcast where all they talk about is this. I think I know. I have a degree in small business tyranny, okay?
I mean, it was really helpful, like, because I know that I can only withstand so much, and, like, I had to find the other street fighter in the salon, and I found her, and I told her, like, okay, come on, we can leave this place, we can split the rent of, like, a booth rental, which is basically, like, a little studio space where, stylists can go and basically pay fucking rent that costs more than my house rent. But if we split it and shit, you get the first month free. Like, I found all this information, went up to her, and she's just like, I have a kid, I can't risk it. Like, that's like opening a new business. And I'm like, oh, fuck, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's rough. It's so what are things looking up now for you? Like, how are things going?
So I got hired at this barber shop. Scared of beards, so we'll see how that goes.
You're scared of beards?
And I'm not into them. I just too close to the mouth, and like,
I guess if you work with hair on,
you get stuck in there.
I guess if you work on hair on people's head, then I can see where you would be nervous about hair around somebody's mouth. Like, I think it is like such a.
I mean, you have to be one-on-one with them.
Yeah.
Like eye contact.
How freaky is it, like, cutting dudes' hair, like, after you've only done... Because did you only do women at the other place?
Oh, hell no. I made a point to be mostly in the barber section, actually, because I noticed that all the money right now in the hair world is in barbering.
Oh, yeah.
And especially for women, because they're like, ooh, look at her, girl. Oh, she can fade.
Well, the non-sexist reason also is that men like the opinions of women when it comes to stuff like that better, too.
You're right.
And trust to do something that isn't going to make you look like Rambo.
I mean,
you should also get...
Pretty much,
you could open like an old-timey barber shop with like a skull with 2 razors under it, and dudes like go crazy for that, man. Dudes are going nuts for those old-fashioned barber shops still to this day. I once got a shave. Like, I got my head shaved and my beard shaved, and when I was done, they charged me $80, and I was like, hachi machi, this is some business. I think I'm gonna have to do this by myself now.
Yep. Well, and it's kind of like the barber shop that I'm working at. I explained my situation to them. They immediately were empathetically like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. That's horrible." And then, I explained that to them just because I was like, "This is why I can't afford to pay for my licensing," which was only like $165 or something.
Sure.
And they're like, "Hey, we'll pay for that for you." Yeah. And I'm like, "What?"
That's
Seriously?
cool.
Good.
That's great.
And this is the day after quitting, so I was like, "Oh my gosh, you guys are saviors!" Like, I really and I feel like they were really cool about it. They did have me sign something saying like I would pay them back, but it also said in the thing I signed that they would waive it if I got someone else to work at the barber shop, and I'm like, that's going to be so easy. Like all my
Yeah.
friends need jobs.
That woman, with the kid.
So basically.
That woman with the kid could come
that's what
there.
I'm saying.
You could steal
well,
her.
No, it has to be a barber. Has to be a barber, like a master barber.
Oh, a master
I wish I could
barber.
steal her.
Yeah, that would be. That's
Yeah,
always
whatever that
funny
means.
when you quit a job. Like it's so funny when you quit a job and you get somebody from that job another job, like a real dick. That's like such a dick move when I've done that
That's
before.
what I'm trying.
I got a job when my first
I'm
job.
trying to be as petty as possible.
My first job was at McDonald's. And I only had like one or two friends there. And then I got a job at Chuck E. Cheese, and I got both of those people a job at Chuck E. Cheese. It wasn't a better job, but it was just like, fuck you, McDonald's, take that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. My first job was working for my aunt, and she was like the shittiest small business tyrant, like white lady, does yoga, has her own radio show, like it's kind of the parallels between like radio and like anarchy. Like she tries, but she does not succeed, and she just gets all like. I talked to her once about some of my concerns with my salon, and she was like, "Well, she does sign your checks," and I was like, "Oh no."
That's the worst person to go to for advice on anything if they say that.
Most people are putting up with that. I mean, keep your head down makes everybody, happy, makes all the bosses happy when you don't stand up for yourself.
Right.
And then you never find yourself
Right.
you never find yourself in a place where you can be yourself and be, treated as an equal and be paid what you're worth, because you end up just putting up for less.
Well, I kind of feel like this place that I'm at could be a really good situation. There's a music studio in the back. Like,
we
it's
have one of
pretty
those.
cool.
We have one of those in town too.
That is cool, though.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm just, I'm in the music scene too, so it really would help if I could just be like, hey, can I record here?
Yeah, that would be cool.
You can sell CDs after you cut people's hair.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Don't hand people your mixtape. I'm kidding. Go for it, actually.
Oh, hey, listen, you know what? I used to, when I first moved to Orlando, I'm in Orlando, by the way, I started in the music scene by being a promoter for like these SoundCloud rapper shows. So I've handed out many a mixtape.
We're getting down there. We got to get down there. If we could just hang out with
Please, come
Kayla
on.
and Stogue, know?
Yeah, that would be
That would be
Oh,
fun.
that's a
no.
dream team.
I'm trying to find them. If you're listening, please hit me up. Me and my partner just want to smoke you out.
Stoke Stevens and Brian Cum. Find them. Yes, Brian Cum is the name of the other guy.
Come find us. I have punk shows at my house, and I have one coming up.
All right.
For Halloween. So everyone that's a Street Fighter gets a free drink.
Could we do
Hell yeah.
Halloween in Florida?
If you can figure that out, I will go down there
Of
for
course.
Halloween. I mean, we're going to be pretty busy. We got a show coming up, a big show in town coming up, but maybe if it's not going to be. Let's try to get down to Orlando for Halloween, dude.
We'll see.
Let's do
We'll
it.
see.
Well, thanks
Oh
for.
my gosh, you guys would freak out because it looks like suburbia, and sometimes the punk bands are like, are we in the right place? And I'm like, yeah.
Well, hey, Kayla, thanks for calling. We got to go lean for a. We're going to take a break.
I understand. It's on my time, I guess, but
Well, thank you for calling, and
get
I'm
it.
really glad you stuck up for yourself. That's really cool.
Yeah, and let us know
Yeah,
how
I'm
it
trying
goes.
to. You know, I'm 22, so it's like they just expect me to fucking just submit to them or something.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, that is what the world's like. So don't. Yeah, they probably think that you're like sort of like you're so young that they think that they can push you around, and if you're not gonna let them push you around, you know
You can still cause trouble.
Yeah, and they just expect you not to go through with it. That's the thing. So like,
Yeah.
they expect you to do threats but not go through with it, and if you go through with it, you know you will show them not to fuck with you. You know.
Yeah, I've been telling this same person's story all night, but yeah, a friend of ours, when she was around in her early 20s, they tried to screw her out of a deposit, and she had spent like a whole weekend getting everything back to order, and they came up with all this bullshit, and the guy was basically a slumlord, and she looked up everything that she could and took his ass to court and got her deposit back, you know, and it was just diligent about it. Like,
Nice.
right? They try to bully her out of it. They try to make it really hard to do, and you just go through the process, and you have just as much of a right to do that as anybody else.
Yeah,
So,
and do it. They
give 'em
do
hell.
not
Yeah, and
expect it.
I will.
And they're taking advantage of your age, you know. So you just got to go for
Oh,
it.
they are.
Well, have a
And
great
they know my situation in detail, too, so they're fucked.
yeah. Well, have a great evening, Kayla. We really appreciate you calling and listening and being an active member of the Facebook group. It's really cool.
Oh, yeah. It's super cool to me, too. I'm really glad to call in. I've never called in anywhere, so...
Well, call back.
Well,
Your
besides that one
destiny.
time when I was a kid.
yeah, when I was a kid, my family all listened to right-wing radio. It was always Rush or Bill O'Reilly, so I just loved it. Like,
Oh, my God, I had a Bill O'Reilly for Kids book.
oh, that's unfortunate. I can't imagine what kind of poison was in that.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for
I hated it. Okay, I'm sorry.
You're
No
fine.
I'll
no
let you say
problem.
goodbye.
It's our fault. Have
Peace
a good
out.
night, Kayla. We're gonna play some songs now. There's 3 people on hold, so you're all gonna get
You're all
through.
getting in. If you're on the line right now, you're getting in. Stay there. We're going to take a quick break.
You ready for music?
Yeah, let's In
Then
Street
behold,
Fight Radio,
a pale
number one
horse,
anarcho
and its name is...
radio show on any station across the nation. Where's my mic at? Hey there, can you hear me? Turn this up. We are broadcasting live from the Free Press Studio here in downtown Columbus, Ohio. We are on the Pacifica Radio Network. This is WCRS FM coming to you out of Columbus, Ohio, the 614 area code. You can hear us on 92.3. 92.7 or 98.3 here inside 270. You can listen live at WCRSFM.org. We do this show every single Sunday except for when we don't. We start taking calls around 10:30 if you want to get in early. We take them all night long. We've got a few left. Thank you for listening. I know we've had some long calls tonight, but they've been some good ones.
Yeah. I mean,
Love talking about VHS movies any chance I can.
Yeah.
I actually had a weird moment on vacation where it was like the kids, we just sent them away. It's like third day, everybody's tired, so we just turned on. We didn't want to turn on anything that was like too offensive or we had to pay attention to, and we ended up getting into Turner Classic Movies, and we're watching this black and white movie called Sabrina. And it made me like flashback to being old because I looked at my daughter who's like on the floor playing Paw Patrol or something. And us old people are watching these black and white, old, stale, corny movies and just so enthralled by it, you know? Just chatting it up the whole time.
yeah. I mean,
It made me feel like a grandpa. But like in a good way because being a little kid that shits yourself all the time is not better.
Yeah. That's true. I don't know if
They have their whole life ahead of them, though.
That's true. Yeah. I feel like I can't hear what's going on in my headphones here unless I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when somebody calls in, right?
Yeah, for sure. You want to see who's on the phones?
Let's get
Test
these
this
phone
out.
calls out. Yeah.
Thank you for calling Street Fight Radio. Who are we talking to?
Hey, I think this is Carter here in LA.
What's up, Carter? How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you guys?
I'm feeling great. I'm a little nauseous, but I'm always a little nauseous when I get back from break, so I think I'll be okay.
Yeah, more kratom.
Yeah, nah. I mean, I'm just.
Yeah.
I'm like, I get worn down after the break. I come back and I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. It's like that 2:00 crash when you're at a real job. It's like I come back from break and I'm like, oh, I'm so tired, but I'm lit.
Yeah.
Or like when you're really super drunk at the bar and having a great time and just keep doing more shots, and then all of a sudden they're like, get out of here, and the party stops, and you're like, oh no, the world is spinning now.
Right. Yeah. You realize how fucked up you actually are?
Yeah. It's like when you keep talking, like when you talk and talk and talk, it feels okay. It's just when you have a second to think, like, wow, I've been talking for a very long time. It's like, oh, I'm a little tired.
Totally.
But you know what?
Totally.
I get 2 days off. I get 2 days off in a row right now. I'm going to go home, and I'll probably still talk those whole 2 days. So,
Yeah. I can't imagine you not talking. Honestly.
Nobody can imagine that. Yeah. What's going on tonight, Carter?
For sure. I don't know. I had a couple things I wanted to chime in on. The first thing, just based on Nairi's call and everything, is I really want to encourage any street fighters who live in an area to try to do a meetup, because the Southern California meetups that we've been doing are so fucking fun and are forming actually really cool friendships and everything. Mason and I are writing a short film together and everything, and that's been really rad. And we met because of Street Fight, and so it's been really fucking
That's
cool.
awesome.
And it's making stuff happen.
That's
it's
my
been really
heart.
fun.
You're touching my heart.
Yeah, we were. I was actually supposed to work on writing it tonight, and then I just decided to call in instead. But I'm pretty happy with what's coming together and everything, and I can't wait to show it to the Street Fight group and all that good stuff. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
You should write a short
it's really
film,
rad.
Brett. Me and you should write a short film someday, Brett.
I got some ideas.
It's not that hard.
It seems hard. It seems
I don't know.
daunting.
It's hard to write short films because you have to pack a lot of information into 10 pages or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Mason and I both went to film school, so it's just kind of working out for us to work on this stuff together.
Oh,
That
that's
sounds
so
great.
cool.
Yeah,
so-
can't wait to see it.
California,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, for sure.
California.
Yeah.
That's where people have
Yeah.
real dreams. That's where you're like, I can
Yeah,
write a short
that is-
film. In Ohio, it's like,
Yeah.
ain't nobody gonna see this if I make it.
Yeah, I think we got
Right, yeah, I
Gummo.
guess so.
Gummo.
Yeah.
We have Gummo. I mean, that's something.
No, like, they gotta, I don't know, they gotta, like, start making movies somewhere other than LA, because this place is a fucking hell pit, and people need to, like, make art somewhere else. 'Cause
Yeah, I do
nobody's
wish.
making art here.
I wish more art like happened outside of like New York and LA, or like more art
Absolutely.
that people actually see happened outside
Sure.
of there. Because
Totally, yeah, because it's like, you can go to New Mexico and, like, meet all these amazing painters and everything, or, like, anywhere you'll find, like, people making cool art, but it's just, like, it doesn't reach anybody, which fucking sucks.
yeah.
But,
And it's
yeah,
like,
I think,
even like you look at like sitcoms and stuff, and it's like all these sitcoms take place in the Midwest, but they're all written by people that live in like LA and New York, and Midwest just means boring
Exactly.
place.
right, exactly, yeah. Like, that fucking Ashton Kutcher show called, like, The Ranch or whatever, where he plays, like, a, like, pretty boy, like, football player who then moves to, like, the Midwest somewhere, and it's just, like, it's a very cringy show.
Yeah,
I love that
Brett
show.
likes that show. It reminds me
yeah,
of the
it's
Midwest.
like- Right. Yeah. Is it accurate, though? Because I felt like it was, like, very pandering
Sure.
when I watched it.
It's not pandering. I would say the reason I like is it puts like a very clean and squeaky sheen on some very ugly, disgusting opinions that people have. And like the people that like
Sure.
the dad who is Sam Elliott, like he is great, but like what he's actually would say if cameras weren't on him would be like would be completely inappropriate.
Horrific.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I like it in
totally.
the way that I like the liberal jabbing from like a place that's from a fun type of area, not the like you're all pedophiles type band stuff,
Right, yeah, that's definitely true.
But it's totally cheesy.
Yeah,
I just
and
like
I
cheesy
don't know.
sitcoms.
For sure. Yeah, they've got their place. Totally. The other thing I wanted to like call in and talk about tonight was like organizing strategies, I guess, or like things people can do as organizers. Because like I've been having like a really interesting summer, kind of doing organizing shit without being part of any like, or not necessarily doing it as part of like an official org. And like that's been really cool, and I think like more people should be willing to try that. Because like I left DSALA a few months back for a lot of different reasons. I don't need to get into that right now.
Uh-huh.
But like I've just kind of been loosely affiliated with a bunch of like socialist and lefty friends, and we like helped start the occupation here against ICE in LA and everything. And we like did a thing recently where we like sit outside of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's speech here and like sort of protested her not having a stronger stance against ICE and like against Palestine and everything. And like we're not part of any official org. We're just kind of like going for it and like doing things that we think are important,
Free
I
agents.
guess. And like
Yeah,
it's been really satisfying. It's been really cool.
You're sovereign.
That's a sovereign outlet.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
called the sovereign organ.
Exactly.
No, that's great.
Exactly. Like
I mean, really, the secret,
I think
the
like
secret
orgs are
behind.
super important.
Sure.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the secret behind all organizing is that you just have to go through the motions and then check up on it the next day and then check up on it the next day.
Yeah.
I mean, there isn't a lot of secret
Exactly.
strategy or planning or things that you have to study. You just have to come up with a plan and stick to it,
Yeah, exactly. And if you can just like find a group of people who are willing to do that with you, like you can do some really cool shit. Like I didn't think it was going to work for us to like throw up tents outside of the detention facility here in LA, but like
Sure.
we totally just kind of did that,
Right,
and it
give
just
it a
kind of
shot.
fucking happened. And like we had a lot of help from orgs. Like there was this group called Indalon that helped a lot, and this group Ground Game that I do a lot of organizing with really like came in and helped out a good bit and everything. But like the core of us that started planning that weren't planning that as part of any like official group. We were just like, we hate ICE and we want to do something about it. And yeah, I think like more people should be willing to like take that shot and everything, because it can be really fucking badass when it works out.
Yeah, that's a big payoff too. I mean, just taking the chance is all it is. I mean,
Right.
what happened? So either you're successful, or they say get the hell out of here. We're gonna, the police force you out of there. It's like find out what it's gonna be.
Right.
That's really all it takes.
Totally. Well, and yeah, like I will totally say that like my friends and I that I've been doing this stuff with lately, like a couple of them are lawyers, so like they have a really good sense of like
That's great.
what can we get away with before the cops show up and start pissing us off.
That's
and
great.
like start causing shit. Like they know, like they're really good about like figuring out what the line is that we can cross and everything.
Sure.
So we like plan that shit out really well.
That's
but like
great.
yeah, it's been really satisfying to like do that and all that. So like
That's cool.
I don't know, because I think like I see people all the time sort of like online, like on Twitter and shit, like talking about like stuff they want to do and just feeling like they can't pull it off. And like I don't know how individually we can pull that stuff off, but I do think like collectively we have a lot more power than we think.
Yeah, I mean, you start small, and you can do it. Like I said before, it's like going to church. If you just decide to all meet like every single Sunday at noon to talk about
Totally.
what you're going to do next, I mean that amount of time is enough to get the ball rolling, and
Totally, yeah.
put
Like,
things in motion.
It worked for the Jesus people.
exactly.
It did work.
They
for
got a
them.
whole thing going on.
Yeah,
They're tax exempt.
Right.
They're sovereign. Now that's sovereign.
They got out of paying taxes by meeting
The
every
Pope is the
Sunday.
most sovereign citizen.
That's true. Highest on
Yeah,
earth.
nobody gets more sovereign than the Pope, honestly.
Now, there are times where it feels like really alienating not to be a part of an organization where you can actually like if you do end up in if the organization moves too slow, which is generally most of the problems on the left
Yeah.
or the right. I mean,
Yeah.
probably problems everywhere, but a lot of times these organizations just move too slow. And like, if you want to get something to happen and you're just like, we're going to go do this, let's do it now. And then, you post basically, you post where you're going to be. And a lot of
Exactly.
people just need somebody to tell them where to go.
You're right. I mean, so many protests
Exactly.
kicked off here just because someone had the guts to make a Facebook group. Someone just was like a Facebook
Totally.
event. I mean, they're like, hey,
Yeah.
so-and-so is coming. We're going to meet up and have a day of rage about it. And everybody's like, I'm into it. And it just catches wildfire. But, it
Exactly.
has to be the first person.
Exactly.
And then at that point, you do have to worry about making sure that it's something that engages people and provides a real service and all of that. But, it is very easy to connect with people these days that are, like-minded.
Totally.
And lots of folks that drive 45 minutes into town to do stuff. There's plenty of extra
Exactly,
time
like-
and hands that can help.
I did listen
Once
to...
we started. Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
I did listen to an interview with Boots Riley the other day that he said something that was really that really grabbed me a little bit that I didn't think about. But it's like, if you're organizing events, you should have plans for the next thing or like concrete actions
Totally.
that you can take, because like a lot of times demonstrations now are just that. Like everybody shows up.
Right.
These people show up and they're like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? And then you're like, well, we did it. We did this demonstration
told
and it's
them.
over.
Right,
And
right.
it's
And,
like,
that's it. Yeah.
that's something I think we need to work a lot harder on, is being like, okay, so we grabbed regular people. Like there's been protests here that were like 3,000 people in 2016 right after the election, but there was
That's
just
amazing.
nobody
Yeah,
there
yeah.
to tell them what to do when the protest was over. Nobody's ever told
Totally.
me to do
Yeah.
anything other than if they were like, people have told me to say something on my radio show, which is fine, but if you told me to do
Right.
more, I would do more. If you told me what you need me to do, I would do it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people they believe in this shit and they want to get involved, but they kind of just want to be foot soldiers. And
Me,
I think just a little bit of creating some tasks for people to be foot soldiers can go a long way.
yeah,
Yeah, you're
I
right.
want to just be a foot
And
soldier.
for keeping people engaged. Totally.
I don't want to be a leader, and I
It's-
don't want to be an organizer, but I do want to be told. If you tell me what to do, I want to help. I want to contribute. But a lot of times it's perceived that our role, Brett and I's role, is oh well, they're gonna go and people have said, why don't you guys organize a march? And it's like, we probably could give it a shot now, I think, and see what could happen. But it's like, I mean, we're not organizers. We're two dumb guys.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, you're entertainers. You guys, the important thing you guys do is sort of giving like leftists something to like latch onto to get through the week and everything, which I think is like fucking vital. But it's like that's very distinct from organizing and everything, and like both are important.
Don't expect us to have like super special organizing knowledge because we were able to make a comedy podcast that people like to listen to. We don't know how anything else works though, and it's like I would love to be able, like Brett does do like a lot of stuff that's like very foot soldier. Like if you go do Meals on Wheels or escort women to the Planned Parenthood, like that shit, that stuff helps, and it's because he went looking and somebody told him. I would love it if we didn't have to even go looking. You know, if there was just somebody be like, well, you can do this. It's like, oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. It would be like, I think everybody like would really benefit. Like all the different like organizations out there would really benefit if like at the beginning of all their meetings they're just like, here's a list of the things you can do this month. That would be really rad if you can show up to. Like I've been doing stuff with the LA Tenants Union lately, and that's what they always do. Is they're always stressing like, okay, there's a protest at this place on this date at this time. Please show up if you can. And they just like go through a huge list of actions that they have going on constantly, and it keeps like everybody engaged and feeling like they're like an active part of the union, and it's really rad.
Yeah, Columbus DSA does a good job of that. If you can get on their list, like they have some pretty good people that know about that. You took their like corporate skills of email marketing and websites and utilized them, and so you get a monthly newsletter that tells you all the protests are happening, and you get like up to the minute, like, last minute protest stuff. So. That stuff is very helpful.
Yeah. I think that stuff is super helpful.
And you can always do a few things. There are some organizations do move slower, but doing a Medicare for All campaign is something that is going to take a very long time. And it's kind of frustrating if that's
and
what
a lot of resources
putting all of your effort into. You do want to be able to have, you want to have a side hustle with your activism where you can do the dirty shit.
Or even just totally. I mean, I think it would be really helpful if we all, as a like not like me, you, and Brett or anything, but we all as people, as people who want to develop some kind of a movement or some kind of a thing. If we spent a lot of time, we made a list of so like what things need to get done, what things need to get done to make the next thing happen. I mean, that's the most. I mean, it's happening in a lot of places, though. Yeah,
it totally is.
Yeah, I just don't know. Like, so okay, we need phone banking, we need canvassers, we need what else? Like just a range of different jobs that we need to happen. And letting people just sign up to take those things on, like, would be really amazing. And if it was a more out there list, because yes, there are lists. Like the Columbus DSA is great; they're really well organized. They're a little more radical than some of the other ones, and they're still going. Things are still happening here with them. But like, the way to learn what they need is to be in the DSA. The way to learn what the IWW needs is to show up at the IWW meetings and be there.
Yeah.
A more open process, or the minutes, even posting the minutes of meetings and stuff like that could really make it because there are people like me, like I'm just like, I'm not shy, but I'm just like not going to come looking for work. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to come to somebody and say, please give me some work. But if I could go look at a place and be like, these are the work that needs to get done, I'm going to do one of these things, every once in a while or whatever, every month or every week or something, I would probably be more apt to do it. And
You're so ridiculous.
What? No, I'm just saying.
If I'm hungry, I'm not just going to go up there to eat. I expect them to go and lay the bowl down, leave, not look at me while I'm eating, and let me eat.
But I think a lot of stuff, though, I do think that a lot of things now are like, I know, it's selfish, because it's like, I want somebody to do that work for me, I guess. But, like, I just want to be told what to do and do it is what I want. And, like, I think that sort of thing, there are people out there that have the ability to organize something like that. And it would be great if that happened. But, obviously, like, if a march happens, I'm going to show up to a march. But I'm starting to feel like, again, I'm starting to feel like when a march happens, we feel like we did it and it's done. You know? So I'm like, oh, I would love it.
I'm not a fan of like just showing up to a march and going home. Like I think that's like so useless, honestly. There was that like big essay that went around like in 2016 that was like the catharsis of protest. That was just sort of like just like throwing a big like protest every once in a while, just doing a march every once in a while, and then like not organizing the rest of the like year isn't super effective, and like that's not how you like transform society at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's super important to like find things for people to like show up to, and like give them something to do like consistently.
Protesting, okay, like I think that protesting can work to get some change to happen, but it has to be prolonged. And it has to be constant. Like Occupy Wall Street at least had people talking about Wall Street. And I think that the reason it had people talking about Wall Street is because it was constantly happening. It was going for months at a time, where like a lot of the things we've organized around after Trump are just like the current outrage that Trump has done. And we show up and then we scream about it, and either it keeps happening or it doesn't happen anymore, you know?
I think it really just has to be significant. I think Medicare for all, I think when they're trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act and all of that, I think that the amount and like you said, the longevity where it was just like protest after protest of, you know, these people that, you know, wouldn't leave offices, and they started, you know, going to like congressmen and saying, where are you at and everything, and storming the gates. I think that made them nervous about not wanting to do it.
Yeah.
But that was very large and significant, and it's not, you know, just going and throwing a tantrum.
It is also a demonstration of collective power. You want these demonstrations to actually be about showing people that there's power in numbers. So you want to if you can make people feel empowered, that makes all the difference in the world to their likelihood of continuing on this path and not just being like, oh, okay, I'm going to go back to work and just do my thing now. You know?
Exactly. So like Antifa showing up in DC and like fucking up Unite the Right today, like that's awesome. Like that's obviously totally necessary and like really badass, and like that's an effective thing to counter like the specific bullshit of the fascists descending on DC and all that shit. Like it definitely has its place. It's just like, I think you can't just like let people pat themselves on the back just for like showing up for a couple hours on a Saturday.
Yeah, I really think that I think that like demonstrate like the next step here, and the thing that will help people is demonstrations of power. Like we need to figure out how to stop things. You know, that's what needs to happen, and not blocking traffic. I think those were effective protests, right? I don't have a problem with people stopping rush hour traffic on a freeway to inconvenience people to get people to talk about it. But we could shoot to inconvenience like the people in power would be the thing. And it's like stopping a factory from running, whether we all just pick Amazon and just focus all of our energy on Amazon, you know? Like we're just picking one thing and picking a huge employer and focusing attention on that, and working on, you know, a real grassroots thing to get people to stop, not boycott. We're not talking about boycotting Walmart. We're not talking about boycotting anything, because that's a passive move. It's organizing with workers, salting, and stopping these things, stopping the wheels. Yeah, grinding the gears so that they have to start listening to us, because you know we need to organize around work, and that's the hardest thing in the world, because like Kayla said, everybody. I mean, we all have our shit, you know. I got a kid. I gotta work because I gotta buy my kids school supplies and stuff, you know. Like that, I can't. But like that is also the place where the oppression is. A lot of it is right there at work. Yeah, and that's what we have to attack. We have to attack like those sorts of things. I don't even know what to do. I'm not like saying that I have an answer for it, but I think like we need to start working really hard on articulating the problems in labor, You know, like we need to like work real
Yeah.
hard to just be like, well, you're not making enough money. You're working too many hours. You don't have any benefits. You don't have any vacation time. Wouldn't it be great if you had those things? Like, and here's some things.
Exactly.
Here's some like not saying, well, they have this in France is like one thing you could say, but then saying like we could have this in the United States is a completely different thing. Like we could have this here is such a powerful thing. Like we could get you weekends off. Like that's not an impossible thing. If that's what we want to organize around, everybody has Friday and Saturday off or 2 days off in a row a week, then we could do that, you know, 2 days in a row.
Yeah. That's exactly why I thought Sorry to Bother You was so, like, important, is because, like, I think I have to imagine it's planting that idea in so many people's heads. Like, that movie excites me so much because it's just, like, this is a time where, like, this may be the first time a lot of people are sort of, like, getting the idea of union organizing, like, planted in their minds.
Right, they made it look
super exciting to me.
They made it look cool, a lot cooler than union organizing had looked in the past. Like the guy, the Stephen Yeun character in the movie is like this really cool, like suave guy that just cares about the workers, you know. And it's like that is what we need to be expressing out there, and not like because I think there's a lot of online leftists and they're sweethearts. But like they think that the union organizer has to be a guy in a damn hard hat
with a flannel shirt.
Yeah, with a flannel shirt on and a lunch pail in his hand, saying, "I ain't gonna take it anymore. I'll tell you that right now. These bosses are real crumb bums." Yeah. And that's, I mean, probably not gonna happen. They're all, we need them on our side, but they're not. I mean, we need to stop focusing on students, and we need to start like figuring out how to radicalize really regular ass people. And I don't know how to do it. You know, I don't know how it happened with me. Yeah. I don't know how I radicalized. I don't know. I'm sure Brett has no idea how he radicalized. And like the whole world is against like straight white dudes like becoming radicalized anyway, you know, like for left causes. It's like everything's so much easier for me. Like why would I be a leftist? And so we need to figure out how people are coming to this realization and make our art in a way that makes it happen for other people, I think, right? Like for regular people.
Yeah, there's this book I've been reading called Out of the Wreckage that's all about this guy sort of like saying that like leftists need to articulate a really clear like story of like what a better politics could look like, and that like until we develop a better story, like nobody's going to be converted. And I think that's a really great way to start thinking about this, is that like if we can get to the point where we're telling a story of like how we became radicalized and like how we like got to our politics, we can make them relatable, and we can make more people understand that like these are like rational things that like people who like live in the world deal with, and these are like ideas that you can have as a like rational adult. Like they're not idealistic, they're not like rooted in like something just like radical and crazy. It's like this is just the right thing to do to stand up against bosses that are fucking us all. And like I think if we can get to that point where people start seeing it as a rational choice, like we're going to start winning much more.
Right. And something that Sorry to Bother You really articulated to me, and like it's something I don't think that Brett and I have thought of as like a conscious thing, but it's something that I know that we do, because I think we both kind of think this way, is like make something broad and mainstream. Like it's not wrong to make something broad and mainstream. Like I think Sorry to Bother You is really cool, but in the grand scheme of things, a lot of the people that saw it were already converted, you know? And I feel like if we can figure out how to make this stuff mainstream and as broad, I think this show is broad. I really think our comedy is like something that if you listen, anybody could get the jokes. I really do. Some of the stuff is like some of the stuff is offensive, and we do that on purpose. Some of the like the anti-America stuff and burning flags and shit like that is something. But I think that like if a person listened to like this call-in show where we just talked about work and joked around and made fun, like talked about movies and shit like that, they'd be like, oh, you know, and then they get to this part and they hear this, and it's like, I don't know how to make this stuff mainstream, but that is something we need to consider and think about. Is like, what can make this mainstream thought? Like, what can make can make being a Democrat seem like a ridiculous thing, and being an anarchist or a communist or a socialist seem like being the normal thing? I don't know how that works. Yeah. But I mean, sorry.
I don't know either. But I hope we can figure it out.
Sorry to bother you. Being successful, I think, opened up a window where like capitalists will again. I think I said this last week. They'll sell you the rope to hang them with, and like now that a movie with that kind of a message has made money, they're gonna make more stuff like that, and they know that there's a market there for that. And that thing made, I mean, they made money, and it was a money winning prospect. So it's like kind of like now, like we just need to be out there like figuring out how to get stuff made, you know, like, okay, so now how do we get stuff made? How do we get it in front of people?
Yeah.
And then think about how, because Sorry to Bother You also wasn't overtly super political. If they made a political point in that movie, they also were very conscious about making a joke around that time too. There was never a time where somebody was preaching at you. It was more like somebody would say, like a woman would say, I told Brett about the part earlier where they have a meeting and they hired a new human resources woman, and she comes in and she gives this little speech. And when she's done giving the speech, a guy like raises his hand and he's like, "Are we gonna make any more money for this?" And she says no, and he's like, "Then why are we here?" It's just little moments like that. That's such a mainstream thought. Like, I've never been to a work meeting where people didn't say like, "Does this mean we're getting more money?" Oh no, then I don't care about this meeting at all.
Right? Yeah. It's like it's such a relatable scene, and like there's a lot of stuff in that that's just like very relatable if you've ever worked a job like that. And like they just like it's just not something you see on screen very often, and so like it's so invigorating to sort of like see like that part of your life blown up on a big screen.
I do wish he would have talked about call times in that movie, because that is such a key experience for working in a call center, is the call times. That's like I
definitely would have been funnier.
Well, I always just think it's funny to think about like all these people call in to get service, and they don't understand that the person on the other side of the phone has another person going like, "You need to have this done in 6 minutes."
Yeah.
That would have been great.
They did keep saying we got to get as many calls as we can, but it's just like every call center job I've had, they were like, if your average isn't under 6 minutes, you're in trouble. I remember one time my average was 2 minutes, and they were like, "Are you hanging up on people?" I got in trouble for having too short of call times. I was like, I hate this job.
They're suspect,
yeah. Everything's suspect to those people. Well, Carter, thank you for calling. It was good to talk about organizing.
It was great.
Have a great night.
Hell yeah. Take it easy.
Let's take these calls, man. We got to take the rest of these calls.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, there are a couple organizations in town that do post their regular, like, whenever they're looking for people to come help out with stuff. But they also are very secretive about what they're doing, because police and shit will use that kind of information or those type of things to do their little sabotage shit.
That's true. Yeah, I get that. I do. Yeah, that makes actually a lot more sense than my thing of like just post stuff. I just always the key to this world to me is making the cost of entry to everything really low. And I know that brings the stakes down a little bit, but I feel like you're playing a numbers game where if they pop in, then if 100 people pop in, maybe you'll get to keep like 40 of them, you know?
Yeah. Well, I understand what you're saying too. I mean, someone could sit at their house and like scrape addresses and for like a mailer or something and put that all together from their house and have it delivered to an organization's box to be handed out or something, you know, or whatever it may be.
Oh yeah. Look over. I spent a lot of time looking at petitions. If you need somebody to run through petitions and type in names, I can do that for you. It sucks. but I'll do it.
Right.
The clerical work, I would love to get into some of that clerical work. where
Logging.
Yeah, because I'm not like super into. I can't canvas,
You can't talk to people.
and I don't want to call people on the phone because I don't know. I just don't have the nerves for it. I guess my
Yeah.
job screwed me up. My job messed me up now. Now that this is my job, I'm rude when I'm on the phone, and that's just the way things are. I can't go back to the old ways,
Why?
the old customer service way.
Oh yeah, you mean you don't have to take those kind of calls anymore?
No, yeah. So now it's like, oh, I can be whoever I want to be when people call in here, and that feels really good.
All right, I understand. Let's see who's on the line here. We got a couple more to go. Thank you for calling Street Fight Radio. Who are we talking to?
Hey, is this me?
It is.
It's you.
Who is me?
Hey, this is Matt. They them pronouns.
Hey,
What's
Matt.
up, Matt? How are you?
Doing good. I was hoping to tell a little story about student worker exploitation.
Great. Yeah, let's hear it. Well, not great that there's student employer exploitation, but let's hear it.
So this is something that happened to my friend.
Your friend Terry?
Yeah, my friend Terry. My friend Terry. They're staying over the summer on campus, like on the school campus, working on a farm, right? Mm-hmm. And like most students leave, anyways. And Terry's the only one working on this farm, and she's got like some like bureaucrat from like the school hierarchy managing Terry. So, like, it's a couple weeks into this job, like, she's getting paid. She has to eat over the summer, right? And she's, like, hasn't been paid yet. So he goes to her manager, and she's like, hey, what's going on? And her manager's like, oh, I forgot to enter you into the system.
Ugh.
You're just not getting paid yet.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no. Like, you're not going to get paid for this time because I hadn't entered you into the system yet?
You got to take me to the bank. You're getting that out of your account. You're getting that out of your account.
We're getting in your car right now, and we're going to a bank. God, can I just say that, like, one of the worst things in the world is a problem with your paycheck because it's like an act of Congress to get a company to write a check to you. So what are they saying? Like, are they saying, like, are they going to pay Terry?
So they're saying, okay, well, we can roll it over, and you're going to get paid for these past 2 weeks in 2 weeks.
Oh, God.
Like you're going to get the first 4 weeks all in one paycheck.
Oh, sure. Anybody can just wait 2 weeks for their paycheck.
They do that.
I've already spent it by the time you gave it to me.
When they said it's a college worker thing, they really do feel like, oh, just call your parents and get some money off of them, you know? Or like, you're a student. You should have some money, right? You're a student. They do that to student workers. They will, like, they feel fine making you wait 2 weeks to get your money. That's wild. That just sucks. I've seen that happen to people in the past, too, at other jobs where it's like, oh, well, we underpaid you by $200, but we'll just pop that on the next check. And it's like, right, me too. Give me a $200 check right now.
So here's the thing. It gets worse one more level. They're like, okay, you can't pay for groceries? We've got, like, this, like, school emergency loan thing.
Oh, well, okay.
So basically they're saying, we're not going to pay you this week, but we can give you a loan that you can pay off in 2 weeks.
With interest?
Yeah.
That is a payday
Like
advance.
a payday advance loan.
I'll tell you another place that'll do that. It's called CheckSmart or Check into Cash or Check and Go, and they're considered scuzzy places.
Buckeye check cashers.
Yeah. Terry's check cashing store. Oh, that is disgusting.
That's wild.
Why is the school doing payday? Why is a college doing payday loans? And why are farms like the worst places in the world to work?
My scumbag sales job, the boss would give you payday advances, like off your sales that you made.
I'm seeing that I'm actually seeing that a lot online now. It's like, we figured out a way to get you a $70 loan Like, there's an app now that Mark Cuban made
I
where
saw
you're able to
that.
get now a payday advance loan. It's like, oh, come on.
It's like if your account goes negative is what it's for, right?
Yeah.
To protect against that, you can just keep rolling with it.
Yeah, keep rolling with it. Get yourself a payday advance. So, is Terry going to get the loan? Like, I guess that's all they can really do.
Yeah, I think Terry ended up getting the loan, which is just fucked up.
For less, though, right? Hopefully they didn't take everything. That is crazy. That sucks.
Right before I graduated, I'd take out one of them loans and never pay it back.
Yeah. Get your money back, Terry. They're going to come for all kinds of money. The college is the one place that can actually get you. Oh, that bums me out. Well, solidarity with Terry. Well, solidarity with all Terrys out there, really.
If you're Terry and you're listening, special solidarity to you.
You get extra solidarity. Well, thank you for calling. I'm mad about this now. No, I'm mad now. I do wish that, Terry, if you feel like doing it, make your boss get in a car with you. I bet it's just some college type guy, that they're dealing, or college type person that they're dealing with too. It's like, you can intimidate one of those usually pretty easily. It's like, hey, hey, college person.
Yeah, just next time have them say this is unacceptable until someone gives them what they want.
Yeah, have they tried the "this is unacceptable" tactic that works in a lot of places? Well, that sucks. I really feel for you. I wish I wish there was something we could do about that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too. It's just like, what can you fucking do?
I don't know. Because going after the college, yeah, but they'd have to pay you back. Going after the college is impossible. It really is. Like, they're exploiting workers, and like colleges are really untouchable. Like,
no, he just did a spaghetti-o, man.
I did. They did. They got away with the spaghetti-o. But it affected somebody's life. Like, not getting paid for 2 weeks is nuts. Like, already,
that's that shit I don't like.
When you start a job and you have to wait for that paycheck,
I know. It's excruciating.
Sucks. Yeah. Oh, remember?
I hate it when it hits you with the 1 week, too. Like, when you start working between a payday and you only get 1 week of pay, and you're like, what the fuck am I going to do with this?
Or when they say we hold a check back. You remember that?
No.
Gimmick they used to do when I was growing up. Some part-time jobs would hold your first check. And
there was. I remember now they would always have those weird schemes. They were like, no, we pay on like a live system, so you're getting paid actually for what you work. And it's like, well, when do I expect a check? And they're like, well, 3 weeks from now. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
That's not a live system.
But when you leave here, though, then you'll have one extra check. They always say something like that. Like, you'll get paid when you leave. I'm like, I just want the money. Please, just pay me in cash every single fucking day.
Right. Well, you saying that really does point that out to me. Like, come on, we got the technology.
Venmo it.
Every time. Just every day when I leave, put the money in my account. And then we don't. But then they don't have you buy the nads. You know what I mean?
That's true.
They don't have you where it's like, oh, you got to do that uncomfortable comeback and get your check and stuff like that. It's just... They could pay us every day. I'm ready to get paid every day. I'm ready.
You would be so broke. You would be living in a box, dude. You would spend that money every single day, and then rent would show up. And you're like, what the fuck? You're like, Brian, you were supposed to save $20 of every day for rent.
I'm still fighting for getting paid every day.
Okay.
It's still, I'm like, I know
it ruins you.
I know that would ruin me, but it's time for us to start getting paid every day. I would, if $40 shows up in my bank account every time a little bit of extra money shows up in my bank account, I'm like, I could spend that right now.
Let's
like,
go out to
that's
eat.
just that would I'm back to where I was when I started the day.
Yeah. Throw all the dishes back in the dishwasher and go out to eat. All right, let's see who's next. We got two more to
up
go.
On them calls. Oh, that's too funny.
Thank you for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to?
Hey, is this me?
This is you. How would you like to get paid every day, caller?
Certainly not home getting paid now, which is shit.
Okay, so you need your shit faster.
That was a tough question. I don't know how to answer that. I'm very drunk.
Okay. Well, I would like to get paid every day.
$200,000, I guess.
No, I mean, would you? Well, yeah, of course. We all want $200,000. That's the amount of money, right? So, what's your name?
This is Ben from Ithaca. I called a few months ago about a cop telling me they loved me.
Oh.
I don't know if you... I had a few cop stories tonight, but then I heard Elizabeth call earlier, and you guys started talking about family video, and suddenly you started talking about something I'm a little bit of an expert on.
Oh, yeah? What do you know about family video?
I live in a kind of small town in upstate New York, and Family Video is like the one thriving video store around here still, and I think it thrives because of people. It's like people like me. Like, I don't have Wi-Fi at home, so if you can't sit in parking lots and watch Netflix movies, you're going to go to Family Video or Redbox, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Wholesome. The family that watches videos together stays in business forever.
What is so? Can I ask you, what's the selection like at Family Video? This is great. We really wanted to know the selection.
I'm gonna head on down.
Is it worth heading on down?
So like Family Video is like, you remember when you went to like Blockbuster and shit? Like the entire every wall of the store besides the middle was the new releases.
Right.
Well, that's kind of like how Family Video is, but like the middle is like all the stuff. They have a section where it's like nearly new, so everything's $1, but you can get like the season of Homeland that showed in 2016 for $1.
Okay.
And then
That's a good
and
deal.
then you get like
Hulu.
Hell yeah! Like, I can't afford Showtime. If they're not showing Twin Peaks, I can't afford it. But like, then they have like the horror section, and they split everything up into genres. But I heard you guys talking about earlier about how like what kind of like classics they have, and they do have a designated section for classics. Like, I saw a lot of old like Western movies about like horses because of that place, because they have like Shane and the Searchers and stuff for $1.
That's awesome.
They have a lot of movies.
Shane?
Yeah, Shane's great.
Shane,
Yeah.
iTunes wants $5.99 for that.
For Shane?
I bet, if you can even get
For
it.
Shane? What?
Shane should be
No.
free. Make Shane a
That's
Shane.
a public domain.
Shane is a public good. Okay.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
That's
That's
like
Shane. That Shane's a real dark, mysterious guy.
It's $2.99 on
Wait,
YouTube.
is it Shane the horse that gets shot in the head at the end?
It's $3 everywhere.
That's crazy, because I can walk 2 blocks from my house right now, and, well, I don't know what time it is, but at 9 a.m. I can walk 2 blocks from here and rent Shane for like $1.
$1. You don't have to do any electronic transactions or hook up a microchip. You
No.
just hand them $1 goddamn dollar and you get a disc and you watch it.
It might be even less than that, because if you sign up for an account at Family Video and then like don't go for a month, they give you some sort of reward where you get a free rental of any kind.
I love
because
this
you haven't
idea.
been there for a month.
Yeah,
It can be a new release or anything.
I'm going back in time. I'm done with all of this. I'm done with the new way to do movies. I'm going the video rental store lifestyle.
Video store Brett is coming soon. He's the new video
Listen,
store guy.
We're like,
And
there's also. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, also an excuse to like leave. Just be like, I have to go return some DVDs.
Okay, American Psycho.
That's the only downside. Like, I hated, like, the only reason I discovered that deal at Family Video is because I wouldn't go back for a month because I forgot to return videos. And then when I did, I'd get a free movie.
Oh, wow. So they let you just pay for it?
I mean, I wouldn't pay for, I would return videos late, and then I would, like, go to pay my late fee when I wanted to rent a new movie, and They give you a free one because you haven't been there for a month. It's a
Wow.
pretty good deal.
That sounds like a real family
Yeah.
wholesome environment. Yeah, I would use it. I would take the videos back and get like I would get secret French fries. Is what I would do if I could run had to run DVDs back.
You stop and get some French fries on the way there and just eat them in the car. I
Yeah.
like that. That's why I might be getting secret French fries tonight.
Secret
You
French
saved
fries.
$1, so you got it to spend. That's
Yeah.
your expense account.
Too bad French fries are
but-
$2.50 now. It's
Yeah,
like,
fries
what
are
the
up there.
hell? Yeah, get out of here with that.
Yeah,
I see-
especially like McDonald's is very expensive. Like there's no dollar menu at McDonald's anymore.
No, all of it is. All the fries are like $3-4. They'll ask $4 for a big fry.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
That Fry Lovers XL is no
Before I
joke.
get
At rallies.
for real,
Yeah, but they never have it. They're always like,
Um,
we don't have the Fry Lovers XL. I'm like, motherfucker, I mean, how do you not have it?
Give
Like,
me 2 larges.
put it in a damn cup.
Give me 2 larges in a sack.
yeah. That's the $12 you pay at Five Guys. You get like a $2 burger and then $12 worth of fries in the bag.
Yeah. Yeah. The Five Guys expensive.
Yeah.
I went
Before I go,
no, go ahead.
sorry, I didn't
You don't
interrupt
want to hear my
with your
five.
podcast.
You don't want to hear my Five Guys stuff. What were
All I
you
want to hear is Five Guys stuff. I'm a big Doughboys guy, so all I want to hear about is fast food.
me too. I'm trying to hang out with them in Chicago. I'm gonna work real hard to hang out with them at All In.
Y'all are my like dream guests on Doughboys.
Yeah, yeah. So what were you gonna say? We're gonna get this last call in here.
Oh, okay. All I was going to say was I heard Brett talking about Putney Swope earlier, and I don't really hear those two words combined very much. And I just wanted to say that if you're looking for a film like that, I think the public library would be the best way to go because I don't know if y'all know about Robert Downey Sr., but Robert Downey Jr.'s dad, before his son became a crazy libertarian billionaire in Hollywood, his dad was a very leftist filmmaker in Hollywood, and Criterion kind of like released like all of his movies at once in a like $100 box set that nobody can afford, but that is something that like every library in America seems to have the entire Criterion collection, so
Yeah.
for the price of a library card, which is nothing, you can watch all those things if you wait 3 months to get them.
No, I actually mentioned it because it is in my wait list. The Columbus Library does have it, so I'm going to see it. Street Fighter Nick Thompson, who gave us lodging in Philadelphia, that DNC show, he mentioned it because of related to Sorry to Bother You. And so I was like, well, I have time to watch old movies. I always have extra time for that, so I put it on my list.
I'm getting this movie. It's $2.99 on Amazon.
Oh, it's a very Street Fight movie. I mean, it's one of my favorite films, and it's kind of one of the things that radicalized me before I knew anything about politics. So
I'm gonna
I
watch it.
definitely recommend it.
I'm taking 2 days off.
There's another,
I got 2 days off, so I'm definitely gonna watch Putney Swope.
because you don't like old films, so it takes 2 days to watch an old movie, right?
No, I was just telling Brett. It
Good
sucks
one.
that
That was a good one.
It sucks that I did that like bit on the Drew Toothpaste show, and then that like 1 week
Yeah.
later, I saw Ready Player One, and I said I'm never watching a new movie again. I hate that. I think they finally chased me back out of the mainstream movie thing. I'm gonna start looking for better stuff.
Quality.
I just felt like a piece of
just
shit
like
watching
that,
that
yeah.
movie. I felt like, why did I give these? Oh, I paid for this. I hate it. I hate this world. I hate it. And I'm like, I'm gonna watch Putney Swope this week. That's gonna be
You
my
should.
Monday or Tuesday instead of wrestling. I'm gonna watch Putney Swope.
Oh, that sounds great. There's an app for that. There's an app called Canopy with a K. That's kind of like, it streams old films, but like all you need is a library card, and most library cards are valid, and you can stream a lot of old films on it. There's a lot of old Criterion films, so I would definitely search that out.
I'm right now downloading it, so I'm
Oh yeah, that one's
excited.
great.
Yeah,
I mean,
Canopy was okay.
yeah, they had that James Baldwin documentary on there. That's how I watched it. Was on Canopy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really? I still haven't seen that, but I just read, like, my second James Baldwin book, so I gotta search that out.
Yeah, it's really good. It's great. I don't know why.
Have you guys, sorry about that. Go
You're
ahead.
fine. Go ahead. No, I was just gonna blather on.
No, sorry, I drank a lot of beers when I was waiting, so I'm, like,
That's fine.
definitely the interrupter.
We're holding it together.
I was just gonna say, like, today I watched a very street fight movie, which was Charlie Chaplin's Modern Times. It was just a very reactionary film about, like, the Depression and, like, being poor in America in the 30s, and I'm sure that's probably either in the library or on Canopy, and that's definitely a very street fight film that doesn't have cell phones, but it's great.
I am gonna watch one of the. I'm watching old movies now. Everybody, I'm back in the old movie game. I mean,
Snooty Brian is back.
yeah, Snooty.
Oh, you enjoyed Ready Player One? That filth.
I will. Yeah, I'm back on my. I think I'm back on my '70s movie.
70s was the best.
Because I love those 70s movies. I mean, somebody yesterday was asking me, like, if they should watch The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, and I'm like, oh my God.
I just watched the old one today.
It's so good.
I literally just... My double feature today was the classic, like the original Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 in modern times, so... I feel like I conjured this car into existence.
What a good movie. What a great...
Synchronicity.
Yeah, those movies kicked ass. I'm doing
It's
it.
great. Because, like, the original Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 is just about how all cops want to delegate their tasks to other police forces in the city. It's funny as hell.
Yeah.
and how cool guns are.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. Oh, I found my library on here. Oh, my library doesn't offer Canopy yet.
I can give you my. I'll give you my sign in.
I've never been more sad than I am right now.
You should try your. You went to college. You should try your university email because Canopy. A lot of the times, like the people I recommended it to couldn't get in with their like regular library email. But if you use your university one, it's usually always on there.
Dang, they got I don't have my university one anymore, but they got all kinds of movies on here.
You don't have.
Yeah, they have good shit. It's amazing.
You don't have any Wi-Fi. How are you watching these movies on this?
In the parking lot at goddamn
I
McDonald's.
don't even talking about. I mean, I watch them on the bike at the fucking Planet Fitness I go to a lot. It helps me exercise a lot. I'm watching old movies on like the bike and shit.
That's interesting. That's a good idea. You could because you really have to focus to pay attention, but like you're also like out of breath.
Yeah, for real. But I mean, like, I don't do that often. Like I said when I first called, like I use the library a lot still, and I still buy a lot of Criterion. So
hey,
they got
I do what I
HUD
can,
on here.
but like
They got freaking HUD in here. I love all those movies. The
getting HUD in
westerns.
Hey, what's the porno selection like at the Family Video? Did they have any? Did their swinging?
There's some saloon doors, but I haven't gone in them yet because
there is saloon doors.
I've seen too many westerns. Yeah,
yeah, you'll get knocked right back
I've
out.
seen too many westerns.
It's going to be a punch in the gut. For
Also, you guys talked about Man's Best Friend earlier. Before I go, I just want to let you know that.
No, Man's Best Friend, not
hell
MBF.
yeah.
The horror movie Man's Best Friend is what you're talking about, right? Not the new Man's Best Friend.
Well, there's another like robot dog movie coming out this month, literally this month, called Axel. It's A.X.L.
I've seen the trailer for that.
And it's about a robot dog, but it's like cool. Like
it's a nice
runs
robot
with you
dog.
when you do cool tricks on motorcycles.
You want to hear some Man's Best Friend trivia? The movie I was talking about, a little bit of trivia for
Oh shit!
After he gets bit by the dog, he's laying in bed with his ass up. He's watching Man's Best Friend. Because he only watches stuff about dogs. Because he's a dog catcher.
Well, like, that's like me. Like, I'm a barista, so I only watch coffee movies. Yeah.
I love
someone in the... It's so great. Someone in the Street Fighters Facebook group today posted about Clerks, and another person referenced Friday being a great, like, 90s stoner movie, and I just think it's one of the funniest movies ever.
Friday is very Street Fight too, because it's like all about, like, it's so good. That movie is so damn good. It's poor people doing poor shit. It's average square ass poor people doing poor people shit.
Even his dad is a very poor person, and he's not, like, framed as a tough-ass dad. He's framed as a tough-ass dad who's, like, who cares about his kid.
And he's getting shit on all the time. Like, he's a tough dad, but nobody respects him, and his kid's just walking all over him and shit. I love that movie. That movie, when you watch it now...
of next Friday bullshit. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that movie, I watched it recently with the kid, and I was like, man, this is so real. This is like a real deal experience. Like, it reminded me of growing up as a kid, like, just hanging around and not really having anything to do or any money. And everybody in the movie is, like, just hanging around. They got no money. You know, that movie, the plot of that movie is that they need to come up with $200.
Yeah.
Like, it's just $200. It's not even like a ton of money.
The funniest joke in all of cinema and the most relatable is Smokey counting the money and then turning it over and counting it again like it's $200.
Yeah, also a big fan of when Debo takes that guy's bike and then his dad makes him come back and ask for the bike back. And the thing he says to Debo is, I thought it'll be both of ours, but we're just going to keep it at my house. He's like apologetic. Punk. God, I love that movie.
And then Debo beats the shit out of his dad.
Dude, I love seeing people's dads get beat up in front of them. Like, that is an amazing thing. I saw that a few times growing up. Like, somebody would threaten somebody's dad, and you'd be like, damn, he just threatened your dad. You ain't got shit, buddy.
Right. Dad ain't gonna do shit.
All right. Well, thank
My
you.
dad would get, like, this.
Your dad would get beat up. Yeah, my dad's a wing.
No, he definitely would, but he sells weed, so he'd be good.
Yeah. My dad would be
Can I
cool.
give a quick shout-out?
Yeah, go for
Can I
it.
give a quick shout-out before I go? Yeah. My friend Charlie was on the front lines today in Charlottesville fighting against Nazis, so I just want to give a shout-out to everybody today that, like, was out there on the front lines protesting against Nazis and shit.
Hell yeah. Shout out to them. Solidarity. Forever.
Yeah, it was showing. I mean, they pretty much got shut the fuck down. I think that the wave of cool white supremacism online is definitely going away once they see the results of, what happens.
Yeah, they just end up looking like
I
dorks
hope
in
so.
the end, and that's what's cool. It's like in the end, they end up looking like dorks, and they look pathetic, and it's nice. Well, thank you for calling. It was real fun. It was good to get an inside view of family video.
Yeah, I love that.
Franchise well done.
A problem at the beginning, we didn't know anything about family video, and you came through and you taught us something about family video.
It's a good
Yeah,
place.
you should write a Medium article about it now.
Yeah. Did you guys know family video is a thing?
Yeah.
They probably would do a Vice article. We went to family video on weed.
Yeah.
It was freaking nuts, man.
We read all of them. We read all the backs of the movies.
Gracious, they got so many good movies on Canopy, dude. Can you just watch them right away?
Yeah.
You don't have to wait?
No. I think if I remember correctly, you only get like 10 movies a month or something.
That's enough for me, man. I don't even watch 10 movies in one month.
We got 3 library cards in the house, so.
Let me get on one of them library cards, man.
Let me get that library number.
Let me get on that library
Come
card.
on. You know I can't. I didn't take the book back like ages ago. It's a bullshit. I lost it in an airport.
So many movies on here. I'm just looking through and I'm like, oh, I'd watch that one.
Sorry, Romeo, that just got on. You're not getting through.
Yeah, we
Thanks
got
for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to?
This is Dan from Columbus.
What's up, Dan? Columbus, Ohio. Not Columbus, Georgia. Right?
Yeah. Well, the good Columbus.
Thank you.
Yeah, the one true Columbus.
The one true Columbus. How's it going, Dan?
Columbus, as my daughter says.
I'm good. I just wanted to, I was scrolling through your Facebook, just like right now, and I saw that you guys actually went to that Ween concert.
We did.
Just live. And that's crazy because I went to that show too. And I really wish with you.
Yeah, we were posting about it. I mean, it was fun. It was like we are not. I don't think we're Ween fans. I don't think you're allowed to call yourself that, really, until you've seen them like 47 times in 5 different cities. But we did have a good time at Ween.
I loved them. I thought it was a good show, and I used to listen to them when I was younger. I haven't listened to them recently, but that Shinola album I loved a lot, and the ones all the Piss Up the Rope and from back in the day, and definitely Ween got Brian back into the Doors in a very big way.
Mr. Mojo Rising.
Yeah, when they played that,
I love that.
he went berserk.
Mr. Mojo Rising.
But yeah, I thought it was great. It was cool, man. It was like they were like a bunch of shop teachers, basically, is what it seemed like. And it was neat that there was like they were all just changing who was singing and like the makeup of the band. And it was even cooler because the one dude, he like stopped playing. He went off to the side of the stage to smoke a cigarette. And he just like threw his knee up on a speaker and was like watching them play. It was like his fucking break. They've been playing for like 2.5 hours. It's his break. He's smoking a cigarette and he's still like he's like jamming like, oh shit, I wish I could be in there. But it looked like he was like really vibing on it. I just loved that energy and their whole world that they've built. I mean, it was definitely inspirational for a street fight, for sure.
LA woman on the avenue.
And we saw no MAGA hats or Blue Lives Matter. We saw one questionable Pepe hat was all.
It bothered me, and I wanted to tell the guy he had a racist energy, but I decided not to do that. And Brett was like, maybe he's not racist. Maybe he just likes Pepe. And I was like, he's giving me a racist energy.
It was the original sad Pepe. It was not like a modified version.
But he had like shorts on that made him look racist.
Yeah, he looked like he didn't cut him. He just tore them.
Yeah.
Like, we just used his anger to make shorts.
He just gave off like a ton. He gave off racist vibes. I'm sorry. If you give off racist vibes, I'm going to call it like I see it, you know?
Yeah, it does look like he's ethnically cleansing with his eyes.
Yeah. There's all these women here. They shouldn't be allowed to see music.
Right.
Yeah, Ween was okay. Like Brett said, they got me into the Doors again. I see you live on Love Street. I don't know. So I don't know if that was Ween's plan, was to get me into the Doors again, but they friggin' did it, man.
Next show we're going to be at is Taco Cat this Saturday.
Yeah, we will be at Taco Cat at Ace of Cups on Saturday.
I don't think I'm going to that one.
It's $12 if you're in town. I mean, Taco Cat kicks ass. You can get some dancing going on.
Do they? Maybe I will go.
They are good. They're like
check them out.
Garage punk. Yeah, check them out. If you like Ween, you probably like some songs that sound like theirs.
Like badass guitar stuff. Yeah. I mean, they can't do like every single type of music the way that Ween does. But they do play one type of Ween's music.
Yeah, the goodest one.
I mean, I have a wide range of tastes.
Yeah.
I think so.
What's the best one? They play the best kind of Ween music, the garage rocky kind of stuff. They're like a garage punk girl band. They kick ass. I don't know if you're allowed to say that.
Well,
they're riot girls. Brett looking at me like,
for somebody's been on Bandcamp.
Somebody's been reading his Spin magazines.
That's interesting that you guys saw some crypto racist stuff. People there. I didn't see any of that.
One
We
guy.
also saw
really?
a dude we saw a dude and a girl about to have sex on the lawn, so that was also very cool.
That was great. That made me feel good. Also, when we were coming into the show, there was a guy being dragged out, and his feet, like the tops of his shoes, were just being ripped off. He had like nothing in his body. His soul was gone, and they were just dragging him out. And everybody there was so fucking wasted, but kept it together. It was like that was what I liked. It was very professional drug doers there.
Yeah, it seemed like I've never been to a Fish concert, but it kind of seemed like the people there seemed like Fish fans to me.
Yeah, I
know.
just can't go. I don't go down the Fish road ever.
They didn't play like 35-minute songs or anything, so
Yeah.
they didn't. The audience, I think, has Fish vibes, and like the interesting thing.
Well, the audience does. I mean, I don't mean Ween does.
And the interesting thing about the audience too is they stand up from the beginning to the end. Like that is something you don't see at a lot of I've been to a lot of concerts at that place where the lawn stands up for the first song and then sits down. Every song got a Road Warriors pop. In wrestling, that's a loud cheer. But every song, as soon as they started to play a song, the crowd was like, "Oh, this is my shit!" Like,
Yeah.
like not a single song was like a sit down, take a break, go to the bathroom thing.
Right. Well, I mean, they just have such a. I mean, I consider myself a Ween fan, I guess, but like they have so many songs that I would have loved to hear them play, and they maybe got like 10% of that.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
that
It's
one
like so
show.
hard. I think now that we do live stuff, it is hard to do all the hits. You know what I mean? When you go up there, because like, there's certain things we're supposed to do. I think when we go on stage that sometimes doesn't get done. You know what I mean? Like we don't say the
Yeah.
Earth is flat in every show, but when we do, people are excited about us saying that the Earth is flat. You know what I mean?
People do ask like why we didn't mention it.
Why didn't you mention the Earth? And it's stuff like that. And I think it's just like, man, when you're like, imagine being Ween and having like a zillion songs and having to put a list together that everybody likes. And like, they probably have to do a pretty broad list. It's weird though, because it seems like all their fans have seen them 250 times.
That's true.
Like my
It was
favorite,
my first time, but yeah.
my
You'll be back,
favorite
right?
moment. Yeah, you're gonna see him again.
Oh, hell yeah.
My favorite moment at Ween was on our way out, actually, and it said it's just one of those human nature things that I find beautiful. But we're walking out, and Brett and I are listening to we walked home, and we're walking, and you got these people behind us, and this guy is just so amped up on this concert. He's just like, this thing was amazing. Like, this is one of the best shows I've ever seen, and his friend was with him, and he's talking to him, and he was like, yeah, this was a high-level Ween concert. I've seen them a million times. This was the second best Ween concert I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And Brett immediately looked at me and he's like, the first best Ween concert I ever seen was the one you didn't go to. You like weren't there. You didn't see it, so it was a lot better. That's such a thing people
Yeah.
fucking do. If you missed something, you're always like, because I'll bet you when he went to see the best Ween concert he ever saw, he went to that guy and he was like, you want to go see this Ween concert with me? And the guy was like, nah, man, I ain't got time for this Ween shit. And then this time he said, do you want to go again? He was like, well, I guess, yeah, I'll go this time. And he's like, so he was telling him, like, remember when you didn't have time for Ween? That was actually the best concert.
Yeah. It's also a great way to take all the thunder and
Right.
It's also a way to just make you feel like a runner-up in a contest.
Here's the thing. Right now, I'm not jumping up and down and cheering and dancing in place the way you are, but I was at a time before, and oh, was it better.
Yeah, just like 10% better, really. It's the first best. This was just the second
It was
best.
right close.
You should never tell somebody that what you should do after you've seen something and somebody else is enjoying it is, one, if you didn't like it, just shut up. You don't have to tell everybody that you didn't like something. 2, join them.
Say it was the best thing you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, you don't have to tell them that
Right.
they missed the best thing, that this was second best. That's something I think people do. Like the movie, I saw the movie Inglourious Bastards with a couple friends, and we saw it. And when it was over, I was like, "Oh, I love that movie." And the dude I was with, was just like, that movie fucking sucked. It was boring. And it made me feel like a chode for liking the movie. It just made me feel like an idiot.
It's a really good movie, too.
That's
a weird opinion.
But even just a bad movie I saw The Avengers with somebody who was like, I think he was just like, I want to go to The Avengers because it's a thing, it's a happening. And he went to see The Avengers with me. And then halfway through the movie, he looks at me and is like, this is pretty boring, isn't it? And I was like, I ain't leaving, dude. Like, you just need to get used to this.
Yeah, this is the movie.
And when the movie was over, he was just like, oh, that movie was boring. I hated that movie. And I was like, oh, you ruined the movie. You ruined my experience. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we came to strap into this really frivolous, stupid tale about robot people generated in a computer.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you enjoyed something, enjoy it. If you didn't like it, just shut up and go home. Brett's been real high on that kind of policy lately, right?
What?
Like, if there's something you don't like when you're out at like a concert, or out at an event, if there's something you don't like, just shut up. Just like, if it's not like something that's offensive or it's not something that's hurting you in any way, just shut up. Just, if you don't like it, just do that in your own head. Don't take the fun away from the other people at the thing.
It's not worth it. And I mean, there's so many things that are so interesting and different, and like it's always a unique experience. And like, taking the perspective of like all the flaws just doesn't make me feel better in the long run. You know, like I don't feel smarter because I can critique something to death. You know, I just feel bummed out that I didn't see the best thing. Like I said, I only saw the second best concert.
We only saw the second best Wing concert.
All right. Would critiquing like the Avengers even be worth it?
Sure. No. I mean, you get caught up in this really corny drama, like of cartoon characters.
Yeah. It's a stupid movie. Like, it stinks. It doesn't stink. It's just a stupid movie. Why would you get into that, like, critiquing it after it's over? Just fucking go home. You just saw an Iron Man and a Thor fight with each other. It's great. It's whatever, you know? But yeah, it's a weird thing that people do that, like, any part of the experience that they find negative, they feel like they need to let everybody know at the thing. Like, even if you're just at a concert and you're like, they're not playing the songs I like. I recently not recently, it's like 4 or 5 years ago. I went to a concert that all my friends were at with me, and they all loved it. And I was just like, this is fucking boring and it's stupid. And I just shut up. I just shut up and like watched the thing. We left. We went home. And then, like, we were sitting at home and we're talking after the whole thing's over. And I tell my wife, like, yeah, it was okay. But, like, while I was there, I didn't, like, try to put the brakes on it and, like, walk up to somebody and, like, tap them on the shoulder and be like, isn't this shitty? This thing's not fun.
Yeah.
I've seen a few bad concerts, but usually it's weird when people don't enjoy a concert because it seems like such an easy thing to have fun at.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I can get into most of it. Someone's clamoring,
Honestly,
making a whole bunch of noise, you know, putting on a show.
I know. I've only been to one concert that I really hated, and it was Black Keys. It was the Black Keys. It's the only concert I've ever been to. Is like, this sucks. And it like made me not like the band anymore.
It did. It soured me too.
Yeah, I was like, these guys stink. That was such
Was
a
the crowd into it?
No,
I couldn't tell.
it didn't.
Yeah.
Maybe we were too far away.
The feeling I got is that the band wasn't into it. And that was the frustrating part. It's like they were treating this like a homecoming show and everybody was super excited, but it really just felt like a real paint by numbers. Like, they knew what songs they were going to play. They never talked to the audience. And
yeah, it was
like,
soulless, and they just went up there and it was like they just had the same moves. They just played like the songs. They didn't really use the stage. I don't remember using the stage at all.
Well, and it felt like the audience was like, it was one of those concerts where you can tell everybody wanted to get into. It was really expensive, if I remember right.
For me, it was.
Oh my God, was it?
Bootleg tickets for like $75 each.
Yeah, it was really expensive, and you could tell that people were trying to move, but by the end of the concert, like, nobody was really dancing or nobody was super into it. They were just kind of watching it. It felt like more like a social event than it felt like a concert that everybody was checking out. It felt like everybody felt like they had to be there, and then they got there and they were like, oh, well, the people throwing this party suck. Ooh, I gotta get out of here.
Well, for me, it's
no, go ahead.
I
Go
want
ahead.
to keep you in. pretty much.
No, we're
I
kidding.
just wanted to talk about Ween.
No, he's farting and making
Just
jokes
bad
on
that
the
I missed.
mic.
I was in the front row. If you guys were in the back, yeah, there's no way I would have seen you guys.
Oh yeah, we had a pretty chill spot. We were tripping on mushrooms during it, but we went to the very back and really had a great view of the whole thing, and it was pretty nice. I mean, I enjoyed the music more than anything. I wasn't really getting torn up in the pit, but I thought the show
was there a pit?
I don't know.
No,
Everybody
no,
was
sir.
so nice. I really did want to go shove
Right.
some people during some of it, but yeah, there was no pit. You're right.
Nah,
It
there's
just
not
was
pits.
sweaty people.
Pits are gone. Pits are done.
We did one at Corn.
Right.
Oh, that's yeah. Those are the only concerts where they're doing them now. They're not doing
Rap
them at a
shows
lot of
do 'em?
punk. Yeah, I guess Freddie Gibbs did a good pit.
Yeah, that Rolling Loud in Florida is just like a gigantic mosh pit.
Okay, you're right. I just feel like I go to more shows without them now. Like maybe
You're
it's
going
because
to-
I'm old.
well, yeah, you're going to the Weak Sauce stuff.
I'm not going to Weak Sauce concert. How dare you?
We're gonna open up the pit
Well-
at Taco Cat.
We're gonna pit mosh at Taco Cat. I promise.
Usually when I see like a pit trying to start up at a show or something, like generally people are just kind of annoyed.
Yep.
There's usually just one guy trying to do it.
Well,
and
yeah,
do
you
it,
gotta
like-
have more people on your side. You need to have more rowdy people in the
Right.
house. It can't be one rowdy
Yeah.
person that just shoves everybody.
You know what the worst thing in the world is in a mosh pit is when there is a mosh pit happening and then a guy like 4 rows back from the mosh pit starts moshing and it's like, go there. Go where the friggin' thing is. You don't have to start it here. Why is it gotta happen
Yeah.
around you? Like why can't you happen there?
Go to it.
Yeah. Oh, that happens every time too. You just be standing there, and a guy's like, "Oh, I'm moshing." It's like, well, I wasn't. I was standing on the outside. The smart ones stay on the outside while drunken hands and arms erupt. Quoth Pantera. That was a Pantera song.
Yeah, I like to be on the outside. I like to do bouncer work on the outside.
I do too. I love pushing people.
Yeah.
I love
Get back in
it.
there. I always say get back in there and slap him on the back.
Yeah. You give them a nice, like, if they
Yeah.
don't want back in, I'll pull them out.
Sure.
But if they do want back, if they're like, oh, they pushed me out of there, I'm trying to get rowdy in here, I push them back in, and it feels like I did a service there.
We've been in some pretty dope mosh pits, I feel like, recently.
Corn was wild. I will admit that Corn was wild. We went to ICP, and their mosh
Yeah.
pits are wild. I was
There
in a
you go.
mosh
I'm
pit
gonna
in
say-
January, like actually moshing at an ICP concert. It's January. But, like, yeah, you're right. I mean, I do go to a lot more, like different kinds of music.
Head bobbing. Just where
Yeah.
everybody just bobs their head.
Yeah. I went to No Bunny, and people were moshing and throwing full beers at each other.
Yeah,
They were
that'll
just
happen.
Like, this is a fun show. Let's hurt each
Let's
other.
get welts.
Yeah.
Sounds like a waste of money.
It is.
It is, but punks don't care.
Like, I mean, the beer part,
Yeah.
throwing the beer.
Unless
It
you
is.
drink it off the floor.
yeah, I mean, people at Nobody concert might actually do that, like pick it up and drink it. That was a scuzzy crowd, which I love. That's what I want to be in. But, well, thank you for
All right,
calling.
well, I guess, yeah.
We're gonna
Thank
clock
you, guys.
out now. Thank you. We'll be
night.
back next week. Call back in sometime. Good night.
Yeah, thank you. That's the Street Fight Radio. We are going off the airwaves here in Columbus, Ohio. But if you want to hear more, head over to streetfightradio.com. You can also find us on SoundCloud. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play. Look for us, subscribe. We do 2 shows a week. We do the call-in show here, and then we do a basement show every Wednesday. That comes out whenever, Thursdays. And you can listen to that. If you need even more than that, we have, if you're already into those, let's say, you're looking for more content, you can head over to patreon.com. That's where you can support artists and like us and people you want to have more money to have an empire that we can use to flatten all the hierarchies on this flat earth. Well, for $1 a month, you get access to our bonus feed. We put out a few extra shows a month. Brian talks mainly to cool people online and interesting folks and shares their stories and also talks about himself a lot. So if you need more Brian in your life, you need to check out those third shows.
Brian content.
Yeah.
out there.
We are moving forward with more live streaming, so find us on Twitch, on YouTube, on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, all of it. Street Fight WCRS is our handle everywhere we go. Instagram as well. We also do a monthly zine. So the way that this works, I don't explain this very often. I feel like we should. But at the beginning of the month, if you're on Patreon and you donate $8 to us. Oh, I can't do it. I forgot I can't do this on the airwaves. God damn it. Well, get ahead to Patreon. You can get more information on supporting us. I didn't realize I was on the air. I forgot when I was supposed to do this because this is a nonprofit. But now we're not on the airwaves. So patreon.com, $8 a month. You get our zine. We sent out the Copyright Criminals coloring book is in the mail. You should be getting that soon. The film zine is on the way. This month you get the weed zine. It usually takes about 6 weeks to get them. I promise they will all show up, even if it seems like they won't. We have a good system going now. We also do an extra premium for $12 a month. We're doing bonus zines. I'm getting better stuff. That Copyright Criminals, I sent out a zine put out by Axo Comics. Look them up. They do really cool stuff. And they sent us a zine called Talking to Wrestling Fans About Prison Abolition. And it's hilarious and insightful and really cool. And that was our bonus zine. I'm going to keep stuff like that coming. So please invest your fiat currency in Street Fight so we can fuck it up some more. We'll see you on the road. If you're in the Middle West, we're going to be in Chicago. We're going to be in Minneapolis. We're going to be in Des Moines. We're going to be in Kansas City. We're going to be in St. Louis. So check it out, streetfightradio.com. Peace. I have the craziest cotton mouth right now.
Are we done?
Yeah. Oh my God, is my mouth dry? Ooh, that was a marathon.
Smokes time.